Cool.
I don't know why this is so nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I
and
know,
it's just
man.
us two as well.
Okay, thank you, Spike.
No worries.
Alright. Have a normal conversation with me till I start the show.
Okay.
Okay. How you been, man?
Good man, you.
How's your day been?
What a day! What a month April has been.
Yeah.
For both of us.
100%. Like, obviously now it's basically, but I've got nothing that's happening for me
Literally,
right now. So.
everyone's just like, what bookings do you have? What's going on? And I'm just like, nothing.
Yeah. But
I think we need it.
100%. I think it's like some time for ourselves to kind of sit back and see, like.
And have time for ourselves as well.
100%. But right. So without further ado. Welcome back to Mic Drop, the podcast. I know it's been a while since we were here. And today we have a special guest, and she goes by the name AMZ. And so a big round of applause for AMZ. So thank you so much for being here today, AMZ. It's honestly a pleasure. I wanted to get you on previously, but it, just timing and everything like that. And finally, and you're our first female guest as well. So
oh yeah.
Yeah, so before I go into about yourself, what you do, etc., I want you to kind of explain to the audience what you do, who you are, and just a bit about yourself.
Well, I mean, guys, I don't do much. Full time, I'm in property. I work in property full time. I started modeling in 2020, I believe, either 19 or 20. From there, I got scouted for my first music video in 2021.
Yeah.
So I did that. And then last year in 2023, I actually got into the event scene. I started hosting and event promotion. And now I'm here.
Oh, awesome. As in, you condensed that into such a small thing, but obviously you do much more than that, which obviously we're going to touch on today's show. Like, the thing is, every time I get someone on here, it's like, what have they done to contribute to like the Tamil community, etc., right? So like with you today, like I wanted to make the conversation a bit more candid, speak about, because we're good friends, like off screen and whatnot. Like, I've known you for a couple of years now, and beyond like work and everything, like we're actually good friends, and like, I know your family, mine. So that's why I wanted to go in. Like the first time I met you was on the sets for a music video with Sai Siva. And so that's I guess that's where our journey first began, right? In this whole Tamil scene. And so that was an interesting, episode in our lives, because that was like my introduction into this.
And literally it was my introduction into music videos as well, because like I'd never even considered doing one. I had messages or something, but I never considered. I still remember getting that message and like thinking over like 2 days, like, oh my God, do I want to do this or not? Like I was so nervous, but it was 100% one of the best decisions I made in my life.
No, for sure. Because I was going to say, like, even prior to that, so obviously when it came to like, casting you on the music video, we were looking around, and then we obviously came across you and we wanted to get you on board, right? So prior to the music video, you've done a lot of shoots, like model shoots.
But what's crazy is I feel like even then I'd only just started.
Right.
Because that was when you guys approached me, that was February 2021? It was like beginning of February or something. I only started modeling from August 2020.
Right. Oh,
like,
swear.
That was my first official shoot that I did for a makeup artist.
Okay.
So I don't know, for me, that's like 6 months later, I still felt like I was a baby to this whole thing, still trying to figure it out, who's who. So
And like, what was your take on it? Like, doing your first music video, and like even when we approached you guys, right?
I mean, to be honest, the way I was initially asked was quite reassuring, because it was someone that I had already worked with and met and became friends with that person quite like quickly or instantly.
Right.
So I can't lie. I didn't listen to Sahi Siva before that. I couldn't name any of his songs. Actually, I heard Needane, but I wasn't really like listening to independent music, especially. I just saw him as like, this kid doing uni shows.
Fine.
So I didn't really know too much. then obviously I had to do my research. And then, and then you guys came with the concept, like even the way you came with it, you gave me something visual to see.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, should I not? I think my biggest worry was just the concept at the time. I've never done something like that. No one's seen me like that.
Yeah.
And more than whatever other people think, it was more like, oh my God, what would my family think? Because they've never seen me do that. And then I literally said yes. Went to Brighton with like 12 guys that I've never met in my life. Like when I think about it, there's no way in hell I would let my daughter go by herself, especially if I knew. Like obviously my mom had no idea. But then, I remember being so nervous when I got picked up that morning, and I was literally just there like, oh my God. But luckily Sahi was like so bubbly. We were talking so much shit on the way. And then, like with you, I remember you walking into that room, Sahi being like, oh, Saanmuu's here. And then, it was just like an instant, I was like, I feel like I've known this person like my whole life.
No, it was like that for us as well, because I think obviously you've known me since like when I first started, right?
Yeah.
So obviously we've now worked on 2 more music videos, so like it's 3 in total. And I guess like as well, like when I first started I was so quiet, like it was just like turn up the set,
so
be like this is so I guess there's been a lot of transition since then, but I guess it's for the better, right? Like we've all grown.
I mean, we were all babies, and if you think about the number of people who were on that set, a lot of us, it was our first project with whatever we did as well. So but that's the thing, like literally I remember 5-6 hours I was so comfortable, and I was there like, I feel like I'm on holiday with my friends or something. So
no, 100%.
That was a good 3 days.
Yeah, because even now, like we think about even every music video we work on, like that experience of like staying away from home and like working on something.
And honestly, crazy, I'm so grateful that I had like such an amazing experience as my first project as well. So I'm so lucky that I'm glad you guys asked me.
No, for sure. And so moving on, like the other thing I wanted to speak about was like you as a person, like how it's been for you, growing up, etc., like how you found yourself in something like this, because I know you do a lot of things as opposed to like your 9 to 5, right, which is the creative stuff, content creation, hosting, music videos, etc., right? So like I wanted to speak to you about your life growing up as a middle child, and like how that was for you. So tell me more about that, and then obviously we'll delve into more questions.
I mean, you put me on the spot there. Growing up as a middle child, I feel like any other middle child watching this would be able to relate. You tend to feel like not necessarily that forgotten child, but there's always like the eldest and then the youngest, and you're just kind of there. I know a lot of middle children, we just kind of grow up, end up being like independent, but not only that, to be honest, out of me and my siblings, I'd say I'm quite not rebellious. My mum might call me rebellious, but I always I pushed my limit, and kind of I always had my mum in certain situations that she was uncomfortable with, but it was just kind of to like show her, you know what, you don't have to worry too much. So life as a middle child. What else can I say? I mean, another thing I had difficult was I was the first child in my family who was like, I'm not going to university.
So that's something I was gonna speak to you about. So you told me you didn't go to university. How was that, especially growing up in an Asian household, in a Tamil household, where they expect you to go to university, follow through with that 9 to 5 lifestyle, etc. How was that for you when you first told Amma, like, you want to not do that? And
she didn't take it well, but not in like a, oh my God, no, you can't do that, you have to go uni. I wouldn't say she really put that pressure on me. It was just trying to get her to understand that there are other avenues that can be taken and not just university. But luckily, because I've got my older sister, I mean, she is like the golden child. She was obviously in university and like I'd be the one coming home late. She wouldn't do that. My mom would always know where she is. I'd be like, oh, and then like come home late an hour or two. But because my sister was aware of the other options, for example, apprenticeship, that helped me in some sense to kind of reassure Amma that, you know, the decision I am taking, I'm not trying to say I'm not studying at all, but for me, I just prefer working because I learn better that way. So I'm going to take this option. I think I also kind of use that opportunity to move out because obviously at the time I thought if I get to go and live by myself and things like that, then that would only be possible with university, which is why I very intentionally started finding apprenticeships in London because we were actually like initially like born and raised in London. I moved to Southampton when I was around 7 or 8 and then that's where we grew up. So for me, London is always home. It's what I was most familiar with, as much as I grew up most of my years over in Southampton. So it was kind of like I was excited to come back. Obviously, I had friends, whether that's through social media or childhood friends that I haven't seen in ages. So kind of being closer to them as well. But yeah, it was just, It was just also, I could be by myself, and then my mom would be like, "Where are you? What are you doing?"
So you moved away from home, right?
I was. When I moved out, that was in 2016. So I would have been 19.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, 19. Yeah, 19.
That's crazy, man. And then
I know. I don't know what I was thinking.
So you've been working since you were 19, right?
I actually have been working since I was 16. As soon as I got my NI number, the first thing I started doing was looking for jobs, because for me it was just, again, the independence, having my own money, not having to rely on mum when it comes to money as well. So like that, turning 18, I was like, oh my God, I can get a phone contract now under my own name. I can build my credit score. Not that I knew what, you know, having a good credit score meant at the time, but it was almost like, oh my God, I can finally be an adult and 100%. Do adult things. And it wasn't necessarily like going out or drinking or anything like that, but it was more, I could do certain things and I don't have to keep asking for permission from mum.
For sure. No, 100%. Because and the other thing I was going to ask is, like, is there any regrets that you didn't go to university?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Okay.
No, but again, it's what I chose to do as my apprenticeship as well. Like, from school, I loved maths. Yeah. And I obviously then fell into accounting because from when I was little, obviously watching Tamil movies and things like that, I'm like, oh my God, I want to be an actress, blah, blah, blah. Whether it was like life that just said no, or my mum just being like, absolutely not. And I was very shy as a kid, so you would not, I did dance and I did performances, but you will not catch me speaking to people. You'll never find me on stage by myself. I was actually a really shy kid, so obviously then the whole acting thing was very daunting, but I think it was more about like the outfits and the makeup and the dancing that kind of
so it's always part of the plan. To
some extent, I think I'm like living my childhood dream on Instagram, doing all these things on YouTube. Fine. So yeah, initially it was that. Obviously, I felt like I've already pushed, like tried to break some barriers not going to university. So let me meet mum in the middle and at least do my apprenticeship in something that she's going to be like, okay, it's still, you know, a good job or a good qualification. So I chose to do accounting and it was very boring. Fine. But yeah, so I literally went into that. And obviously I know you can go to university and do accounting, but looking back at it now, like, I'm actually happy that I still didn't go to university. I also don't have a debt that I need to pay off.
No, I to somewhat I agree with that, because even for me, like, I feel like the university experience is good in the sense, like, you know, you meet so many people who are like lifelong friends, and there's so many lessons and experiences that you take away from it. But at the same time, like you said, depths, right? Like sitting on that and being like, at some point I need to clear that off. Like that is always daunting for me. And also another thing is like, sometimes when you do a degree and you're like, you're not even doing that as your...
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, I didn't want to do a degree and then not even be in that career, because as much as I've got a degree, I know I would beat myself up going, and like, you wasted 3 years. I mean, I did an apprenticeship, but I was making money. So it wasn't too much of a loss for me in that sense. So
no, absolutely. Because that's the thing, right? Like with Asian households, especially, like you're forced into doing something because of expectations, right?
Yeah, but then you know what? I feel like you can't also blame them too much as well, because it's just like they obviously sacrificed their lives to come to the UK to give us a
100%.
better life. And it's all they know.
100%.
Obviously, back home, it's like you have to study hard and, you know, get good grades in order to get a good job.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously that's changed so much now. Like, I'm sorry, you can sell feet pictures and make more money than a doctor. That's so sad to say. But yeah, I kind of knew it was all that mum knew. So that's why I had to, for me, I don't have a problem with being like, this is what I want to do. As long as I can get her to understand, then it's a bit more easier for me. But that is also because we're very similar, like people wise and emotionally. She always says like, you are my twin, like you're just like me when I was your age. Fine. I just use that to my advantage as well.
No, for sure. Because another thing I wanted to talk about like was your personal life, right? Growing up without a male adult figure. If you're comfortable with me talking about,
it's
like,
fine for now.
Yeah, like with after Appa passed away and everything, right? Like how difficult was it for you, especially being a Tamil girl, you know, growing up within our community, right?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't when it initially happened. So I was 11 years old. It was in 2007.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say it was too hard, because this is where obviously when I was little and we're moving out of London and that's all I know, I was there like, oh my God, why will my parents do that? They're taking me away from my friends. I have to go and make new friends and things like that. So thinking back at it now, I'm just kind of like, you know what? That was a blessing in disguise, because I don't think we could have really handled it being in London and that happening, because not all Tamil people, but you know what Tamil people can be like, especially when we are teenagers or anyone's a teenager and they even see you walking with the opposite sex or whatever it is. So in that sense, because we didn't have any family or friends in Southampton, it was peaceful.
Yeah.
Mum didn't have to worry about, you know, but she did have that mentality of whatever you guys do, people are going to speak badly on Abba's name. So you need to keep that in mind.
I think that's more like a guard that our parents put on, you know, like to basically protect their kids. And
protect herself as well. Because bless her, all she knew was Abba, and then that just changed and it was just us, right? So all she had or all she has is us. So I can understand where it came from, but obviously it's gonna sound like mum's like horrible, but she's really not, because I've only really processed this in like the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
But because she was like that and she was worried, because her initial thing was, oh my God, how am I going to raise these kids by myself?
Fine.
She just naturally became dependent on us. So all of us had to grow up so much more quicker than we had to.
Yeah.
So I'd say that was the hard part, because I don't know if abuse is the right word, but it was more the emotional abuse that mum passed on to us without realizing she was.
That's the thing. I feel like it's not in any bad way, like you're not trying to, because I get it, because it's probably the same for like a lot of Tamil kids as well when growing up, especially without a father figure, right? Like it's something that they're not doing it intentionally, but it's like,
just how they know to process their emotions. But 100%. Then again, it's like, I would say it's what they know. Like mum was obviously raised in a way to kind of, you know, I wouldn't say she was raised to depend on people, but that's all she knew, and that's what she naturally did. So at the time, obviously I have a childhood where it's like taking mum to the job centre, dealing with the council, and we're just like 14, 15. Obviously my sister had a lot more responsibility because she was much older at the time. I was 11, she was 15, so she was a bit more of an adult, and I would say my mum relied on her a bit more. But then she went off to uni, so whenever she wasn't there, it was then me or Thambi, and then I went off, so then it was Thambi. So we all have our fair share in that sense. But that was definitely the hardest part, because there were certain things that I wanted to do, but I still wouldn't do it because I didn't want to see my mum unhappy and I didn't want to see her cry. So there's a lot that I sacrificed that would make me happy because I wanted to keep mum happy. And I say all this, I literally only really realised that when like 3 years ago probably, when I was in therapy.
Fine.
And I was just there like, what am I doing?
Fine.
So yeah.
No, I think like with what you said, like it's so relatable because a lot of people can even with what you're saying about parents like being dependent on.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I feel like it's not just like not having a father figure.
100%.
Some kids, I know they experience that having both parents as well.
Yeah.
So I personally feel like we should just take our time with explaining and helping them understand, because when I think about it, my parents were 22, 23. They left Sri Lanka. Like, mum actually came by herself first, and then dad came a few months later. And at the time, she was pregnant with my sister. It's very scary. You're moving to the other side of the world with no one there. You don't speak the language. You're trusting some random Asian guy as well. You're by yourself without your husband. I could never do that at that age. I thought, I was like, I'm a big girl at 22. But now when I think, I'm there like, no, I was a baby.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So I'm just saying, like, you've kind of been through your trauma and you're still going through it. So the bare minimum I could do is just try and help you understand.
No, absolutely. Like, even when you're speaking about Amma, right? Like, I can relate to my own parents. Like, they're sometimes I feel like they're so stuck in like the past.
Yeah.
And it's like and I feel like a lot of other people can probably relate to the same thing. Like, obviously life is moving on, times have changed, but they're still stuck in like different stages in life, etc. Right? And you can't blame them. It's just like something.
You can't. Like, how I see it is, they've been like that for a good 30, 40 years, and even if they were to change, it's not going to happen overnight.
100%.
So we need that patience as well for
100%.
them to, take that time, because it's like us as kids. Older adults will say like, either say yada, other say yada, blah, blah, blah.
100%,
but we never listen until, then where they're like, oh, you know what? That person was right.
Yeah.
But I'd say, like, I wouldn't say I really have difficulty now, but it's also why I'm very protective of myself. Like, I say I know, but I might come across quite straightforward or like cutthroat or a bit like harsh. But that's me protecting myself, because how I see it is like, I'm protecting mum. I don't have mum protecting me in that sense. So I need to protect myself, because I don't have Abba to be there like, come and fight the bad guys. So it has really like shaped me into who I am now as well.
Yeah, no, because I was gonna say, like, because I see a lot of similarities between you, Akka and Tambi.
Yeah.
But then I see a lot of differences as well. But the similarities tend to be like the same. Like, you guys just are so independent. You can get on with your own stuff.
Literally every single one of us are like that as well. And it's just, I think it's because we're all on the same page when it comes to just what we want in life and understanding, whether it's mom or each other. But we've all taken different paths. But we respect that as well. Like, Akka was never that kind of person. As much as she was quite a few years older than us, I don't even call her Akka.
So
I'm not going to reveal her name just in case. But as in, she was that kind of person that she's always there as a second mum as well. And not only that, like, I can't believe I'm only speaking about this person now. My brother-in-law, he came into our lives when I was 10. So luckily, like, Abba got to meet him.
Okay.
But he's literally been there. If anything, he was the one who was the father figure for us when Abba passed away. Because it was all just very sudden.
Yeah.
And even himself, he was like a teenager or a really young adult at the time.
Yeah.
So I guess I could say I was like very lucky and blessed. I mean, we all are lucky and blessed to have him at that point in life. So I think that also is why it didn't make it too hard, because with him, it's like I had that older male figure and he's got siblings himself. So that gave us like more siblings. So it didn't really feel like, we're completely on our own having to manage this as well.
No, for sure. No, thank you for sharing that, man. Like, the reason why I wanted to speak about it is because there's probably a lot of young women out there who probably experience something like this, but like, especially with you, with AMZ,
I don't think anyone would know or expect.
Yeah, because with like how you are on socials and stuff, like, I don't know if people really know.
I don't share my personal life too much, and it's just like, I'm always going to be protective of them naturally.
Yeah.
And it's not that my family don't know what I do. Like, my siblings are on 100%. My Instagram, they see everything, but I would rather they see it for their own eyes through me than not see these things, and then someone goes to them going, oh, AMZ did X, Y, and Z, when it's not actually that bad. And I'm just there like...
No, exactly, because the reason why I wanted to speak about it was because it's so easy to see stuff on social and be like, oh yeah, cool, like they're living a sick life.
Oh my God, but trust me, people think I do modeling full time, and I'm like, I wish that paid my rent and my bills. Nah, need in the veil and and you think I'm doing modeling full time?
Trust me, because it's that thing, right? Like you see socials and you're like, oh, this guy's like up, man, like he's doing this, doing that. But then the reality is like, because I don't know if people know this is like your life, you know. Your
like I've never spoken about my family, like not even on my own channel have I spoken about my family. This, like, what's funny is my sister said the same thing last week, and she was literally just there like, yeah, like you see your Instagram and then like your real life, and I'm just there like, yeah, but what's crazy is I don't feel like I put things on and say like, this is my life, I do this. It's just people's assumption.
100%.
And I'm just there like
100%, because I'm pretty sure, like, okay, so answer this question, social media and reality, like how far are you for, like...
Oh my God, honestly, like I tell myself every day, like if social media just went down, then who am I? Who's gonna remember me? Blah blah blah. And that's why, like, even when people send messages like, oh, you bought your followers, first of all, I'm not that sad to buy followers, but second of all, like, what business do I have doing that? Because don't get me wrong, obviously, like I'd say my biggest platform for me currently is my Instagram, and that's growing fairly well, but no one on my following list is paying my bill or my rent.
100%.
They don't pay me money for me to then cover myself in that sense. So it's really not that deep. And that's one thing that frustrates me, like being in this whole social media, or like just being like a personality or whatever it is you want to call me, because there's too many people who act like, you know, they've saved the world or something just because they've got a blue tick on Instagram, or you know, their followers are in 5 figures or 6 figures, and I'm thinking like, calm down, because without that,
because I get it, like it's like before Instagram and social media and everything, like everyone was just normal in it. Like I get it,
literally.
Like don't get me wrong, like I wake up, the first thing I do, I scroll my Instagram.
Yeah, same, because I want to see I know I'm growing my page organically, so I want to see like what kind of response am I getting for my
100%.
work. But you know, the frustrating thing is always like the content you don't put any effort into.
Always.
That does
always,
the
numbers
so well. Like right now, it's that video of my mum mixing the kanava curry with the spaghetti. And it's on like almost 300k views. And all these comments and likes. And I'm just thinking like, I'll bloody go do a shoot for 3 days, and I like, you guys take time editing it and everything, and I upload that and I get what, like 600-700 likes and just about 50k views on it. It's actually insane. But no, I just always try to keep myself in reality, because
no, for sure. I think because it's like, it's cool, we get it, it's like, you know, social media is a thing, you know, the numbers game, etc. Even like, I'll be completely real, like I see my followers and I'm like, what is this, man? Like it ain't growing for shit. But at the same time, you can't get caught up in that, because as long as like I'm trying to, you know, push myself as a filmmaker and like get businesses out of that, like, you know, get people to book me to come down to do shoots, etc. But I can't rely on that. Do you get it? Like sometimes I see it and I'm just like, it's cool, man, like, you know, I'm still working with like top artists. I know, you get it? So it's
exactly. And it's just like, I feel like it comes more down to like how we network in real life, like person to person.
Exactly.
That adds so much more value than social media, whether that's, you know, reposting a story or whatever it is. Of course, you know, when a certain celebrity watches your story or likes it, it's just kind of like, oh my God, they've recognized my page.
100%.
But then majority of the time, it kind of stops at that. Unless your MJ Melodies getting signed by Jay Huss or something like that. But it does kind of stop at that. So I always check myself, because I don't feel like, as much as, you know, I post these things on social media again and they may influence people, but it's my outfit or my personality. Like, I'm not doing anything to, I say change someone's life, but it's more like, I don't know, it's like, I haven't saved a family from something, or,
so what would you
fed a kid or something like that from social media.
Okay, so what would you call yourself a social media influencer?
No, I don't even like it when other people...
Okay, so what does that mean for all the audience listening out there? Because I don't know what that means.
Because you know what? Other people are like... I feel like it's very vague as well, social media influencer, because you could be on there influencing anything. But for me, influencers I would like value or consider influencers for myself is someone who's doing something to change other people's lives without expecting something back. It's so bad I don't remember her name, but there's recently a lady I came across on Instagram and she uses videos of people who are wasting food, but then she's like cooking to go and feed, whether it's poor people or people who don't have access to these things, and just giving them a meal. Like for me, people might say, oh, she's doing that for fame, but at least she's using her fame for a good thing.
100%, yeah.
So, I mean, I say all this, I need to be more like that as well. But I also do feel like if I do those things and I start posting it, there's always going to be someone who's going to be there like, oh, she's just doing it for the gram.
No, 100%. And the other thing is like, I can get time with the man to do all of this stuff.
Imagine.
It's like I get it. Like, it's cool. Like, what you said about like doing something positive, fine. It's all good and done, yeah. But at the same time, it's like the reality is we've got our own shit to get on with. Do you get it? Like sometimes when you've become like a known face, right? Like you'll probably get people hitting you up saying like, what are you doing to contribute to this and that? And you're just like, bro, like I'm just doing my life. Like, do you get it? I'm not even trying to be on that wave. Like, for example, like when talking about like social media, like how different it is from reality. Like the first time I met Benji, Benji came to my house, and so I live in a council house, innit?
Yeah.
So like my guy came to my yard, and then he saw my house and think, bro, my guy thought I was living, like basically he came to shoot. We came to shoot for like the first day of Jungle or something, and he came and he saw the house and he thought I rented the house out.
Stop. Please tell me what his reaction was once he said.
So he thought, because obviously like on social media, like I'm sharing like pictures of my car and all of this stuff. The car, only I know how difficult that is, yeah. So like others, it's just like, that's what I'm saying. It goes back to whether social media and reality is like, does it align or not? So then he came to my house and then he saw it, and then he thought like, oh, Saanmuu basically just like rented this place out to shoot. And I'm like, bro, that's my house. And then he was like, I was like, bro, you thought man's got peas to rent out a house to like shoot in a council house? Like, what the hell? But like, bless him. Like, that's when I realized, like, for anyone who watches, maybe even for you, like, they probably see, because we've spoken a lot about like, reality of like our lives. Oh my God,
trust me. Like sometimes I put stories of like a property that I've gone to do a viewing at, because obviously.
Don't tell me they hit you up saying, is that your property?
Some people actually think it's where I live. And they're just like, oh my God, when are you inviting us over for, a party or whatever it is? And I'm just there like, when did I say this was my place? Like, yeah, man.
One day, innit? One day we can.
I know, hopefully one day. But Papa.
100%. But moving on. The next thing I wanted to talk about, like fame and dreams. Like, for you, what's the next step? Like, where do you intend to go with? Because I'm gonna get onto like the stuff you do, right? Like posting, all of that. That's coming up next. But but I wanted to say, like, like obviously you've been part of music videos. You do a lot of model shoots, etc. So like, what's the long-term goal? Like, where do you intend to go? Is it movies? Is it?
Well, one thing a lot of people didn't know about me until this year was my initial like interest, or what I wanted to do, was fashion styling. And there were times like when I was working full time, at the time I was working at 3, the phone network, and I was taking annual leave to go and do internships. So I did London Fashion Week, I did Paris Fashion Week. I also assisted with styling on Pathan, which was actually Shah Rukh Khan and Deepika's film. So and loads of people, they literally think they've seen Ogal and they're like, oh, I didn't know you do styling. But I guess I wasn't really vocal about it as well. So I've assisted on shoots in that sense. I guess that's where it initially started. But obviously where I was doing it in London, and I was just kind of like, oh my God, like, this is not only competitive, but it's a lot of unpaid hours of work. And yeah, I felt like I was working like a dog, and I couldn't maintain that because obviously I live by myself. I don't rely on anyone to pay anything for me as well. So that I kind of had to give up. And then getting into modeling itself, at the time I was in a toxic relationship, and because obviously I had that habit of pleasing mom and not making her upset, I carried that onto this relationship that I had, which obviously didn't leave me in a good place. And it was just like, don't wear this, don't do that, don't go here, all those things. And I listened because I was just there like, no one showed me care. I don't have dad. And then finally I felt like someone did, but it's not what I thought it was. So, yeah, and then it was like right after that, I guess it was kind of like, yeah, F this, I'm going to do what I want. And then I did my first photo shoot. I finally replied to a DM because I used to get DMs like 3 years before that as well, but I was just like, sorry, I can't.
And I was going to say, like, as a Tamil girl, like, how have you found it to, to actually break through into the industry? Like, has it been difficult for you?
Of course. Working with people in general is not easy, but working with Tamil people is not easy as well. I'm gonna sound like I'm no, it's, you know what it is, like you do come across certain individuals, but along the way, like I was quite lucky as well, again, so early in my career to come across individuals, whether it was Vita from Laukia. I literally did my first shoot with her, we clicked instantly, and now whenever she calls me, I'll literally be there like, yeah, I'm there. But not only that, it's because she respects us enough for our work and our hours that she pays us as well. A lot of the times when I first started, they thought, they think they're doing you a favor. Yeah, maybe at the beginning they are. But after a while, photos on Instagram or just a bunch of photos are not going to help me. And you're clearly coming to me for a reason. And because they don't pay, they really do mock it with hours as well. Like I went to a shoot. It was supposed to be a photo shoot. Got there like 8 or 9 a.m. We didn't finish until 8 p.m. because they decided to do a video on the day. And we were just kind of like, but all of us were stuck there.
Being like, guess that. Otherwise,
what time do you call this? வாரம் உங்களை பத்தி தான் கழிச்சுட்டு இருக்கிறேன். So discreet. But yeah, no, I had my experience of like that as well. So I've had my fair share of like good and bad experiences with shoots, but after a while I clearly saw the demand that I had in certain places. So I would then be there like, no.
So how do you turn down a shoot if it wasn't like something that you want to be part of?
I mean, I don't mind just being like, sorry, I'm not available, or sorry, it's not something I'm interested in. Because end of the day, as much as, you're using my face. And that's my face, or like my personality. I am my own brand. So I'm gonna, think about how I'm presented in that sense. And not only that, they do these shoots, you do these bridal shoots just to end up on like a bloody poster in India, and you have no idea. And you're just like, where's my money for that?
Fine. So how do you then like select which projects you're going to be a part of, whether it's like, these model shoots, music videos, like how do you like tailor it down about, okay, cool, I'll be part of it? Is it something that you look as like, it needs to benefit you as well? Or is it something you're like, cool?
Not necessarily benefit me, but as long as I get represented the way I want to be, then that's what I prioritize. So when I do get approached, I'd obviously ask for more information about who's working on it, in the sense of, who's going to do my makeup, or whether it's a music video, what's the song like, who's in it, and all these things. I then check out their work and see if it's something that I feel like aligns with me, and then I decide yes or no.
So like, what advice would you give to like younger girls who are in like the same sort of thing, who are up and coming, doing like...
I mean, I wouldn't say just younger girls, whether it's girls or guys, like don't be afraid to say no, because you might feel like you're missing out on an opportunity at that moment as well. But later down the line, it's because something better is coming.
No, for sure, because that's the thing, right? Like with a couple of my boys who are into the acting or stuff like that, what I say to them is like, if you've done something which is very incredible, there's no need for you to then go and do something which is not saying it's bad, but it's just like you're letting yourself down because you're accepting projects for the sake of doing it.
Yeah.
It's more about quality over quantity, right?
Exactly. But then again, other people would misinterpret that and be there like, oh, you know, she's stuck up or something. But it's just like, I'm going to look at quality because it's me. So why should I not do that?
100%. Okay. So I've got a couple of questions that the audience wanted to ask you.
Okay.
So I've got it here. So I'm going to ask you. So the first one is, how did you meet Sahas?
It's like you waited to ask this question for him to come into the room. Well, obviously I knew who he was because of IFT and I've seen them. And then I guess, when did we properly meet? Well, Boston and Sahas came up to me at an event last year in January. And then they're like, that's the first time I had a conversation. And I was like, you know what? Like, these boys are actually cool, you know, like they're calm. Yeah, literally January 2023. Oh, okay. And then from there, I'd see them here and there. Actually, it was mainly because of you, your birthday and things like that.
Yeah.
Then, it was your brunch.
Oh, yeah.
I just thought he was funny.
She tried talking to me. She tried it.
Oh, phone eduthu kaatina theriyum. Tried talking to me. He was in my DMs 4 years ago, guys.
Quick.
He's not joking. It was actually your brunch. He came in, he was waved, chatting bare shit, and then I was just there like, I thought it was funny. I mean, I still do find it funny. And then, and then he just didn't kind of give up. Is that the right thing to say? Because I was still a bit like, nah, this guy defo is just chatting to me because he just thinks I'm pretty. He's not serious, blah, blah, blah. And then, And
then he patterned it.
Yeah.
No, joke. But okay, all right, fine. Next question. How did you meet Chinna?
Oh my God.
What? Chinna, what?
Yeah.
I'm bringing two.
So Chinna, I actually met in 2021 as well. So I worked on a project that never came out. I don't know if it's ever coming out. Yeah. Well, I say we both worked on a project. I did styling.
Music video, innit?
Yeah, it was a music video.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
I love it. But we both worked on a music video and that was the first time I met him.
Fine.
And then it was like very similar to what happened with you. Like we clicked instantly then from there.
And then now obviously like you guys host.
We've hosted together quite a few. People ask us together, but by the way, guys, he is still Chinna, I'm still AMZ. We don't always come together, so you can book us separately as well. Because we keep getting asked, like, I would get inquiries, and they're like, oh, we want you to host with Chinna.
Yeah.
It's just like why are you... You know what? Another topic came to my mind that I didn't speak about. But... people like come to, I don't know if you have this, but people come to me asking me for my resources because they've seen me work with, you know, certain individuals. Yeah. And then they think that's an easy way for them to get like that person booked. I'm just
sick.
like...
It's sick that you said that. You know when people come and they're like, they message you and they're like, yo, give me this guy's number. Bro, I can't give you the guy's number without asking the guy. Like,
literally, like, you can find his Instagram, go message him on Instagram. But not only that, they'll literally be there like, oh, I'm looking for models. Can you recommend me some?
Yeah.
And then they have the audacity to be there like, can you message them and ask them if they would work on my project? And I'm like, why don't you ask?
100%.
Like,
no, because for me, the way I think is like, nah, the number
literally.
there. And you want me to go and give it to you?
That as well. And I'm just kind of thinking like, you never come to me wanting to book me or anything, and I don't have a problem helping, but I'm not gonna then do free labor for you 100%. Just for you to benefit it, because 100%. Are you gonna ever then be like, oh, thanks to AMZ?
Yeah. It's never like that. It's
but
always...
it's been happening to me one too many times recently as well, and I'm just a bit like
No, fairs. Okay, next question. What motivated you to start your journey in the entertainment field?
What motivated me? I don't think anything really, not anything specific.
Or like, because you said at the start, right, like you were shy when you was a kid.
Yeah, I think definitely like trying to make my childhood dreams come true.
Right. So,
but I mean, I'm not trying to be in a movie, but if, you know, anyone wants to hit me up for a movie, then I'll do it. It's no, it's actually on my bucket list to like at least do like one, I nearly said the wrong word, one like dance song at least. Okay. If I get to dance with Danush or something, I will literally be there like, yeah, that's fine. I've had my screen time. But yeah, I think it's just the more I started getting the freedom and just doing things, I was literally just there like, why not, man? Let's just give it a try. And I'm very open to trying new things as well.
Fair enough, fair enough. Okay. Nice,
so I just give it a go and see how it turns out.
No, fair. Okay. Next one. Someone asked, how do you intend to bring a change within our Tamil culture? So obviously you were saying before, like, you know, there's people who actually do stuff, like make changes in people's lives through social media or whatnot.
I think for now, I mean, I don't know how the long term looks like, because unfortunately you do need money for these things as well, and to make an impact I feel like you need a reasonable amount, because again, these concerts happen, we have like independent or dance groups who perform, and then something goes wrong, and then they're all loud for that day or two about, oh, we're not respected, this, that. But who's actually doing something to either help these guys who go on to perform, whether it's educating them on contracts or how to go about it? Like, no one ever does that, and the same thing happens again, right? But I think I would like to start off actually helping the females that are also in the industry, because there's been occasions where I feel like a number of people don't see the value of what a female can bring to the table, especially in this field. But they don't realize that in that moment they need her. And then once everything's done, it's always, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, yeah, big up the boys as well, but it's always bigging up the boys. And I'm just thinking, like, the girls had a part to play as well. So
it's always overlooked, right?
Yeah, like there's even been occasions, like I've hosted an event where the opening DJ, who was opening for like us as hosts, it was obviously me and a male host, literally took no interest in talking to me or telling me what's going on or what his idea was. He just wanted to speak to my male host, and I'm like right there in front of your face. So it's even in situations like that, and I'm literally just there like,
no, 100%. I
what do you think of me?
And
you just think I'm here just to look pretty.
No, even things like, I know we spoke about it before, like, you know, with music videos, for example, right? Like the value a female can bring to the table. Like, for example,
I don't see the boys looking all dressed up cute in a dress, looking sexy.
No, I'm saying it because obviously people don't realize, like, you know, styling, etc., right? Like, it's not the boys who do that.
I mean, not even styling though. Like, if you think about it, the girls who put them in like themselves in front of a camera, whether it's being sexy or seductive, you guys think like just because we dress a certain way, we just, you know, brush past those things, or it doesn't affect us. Like it still does, because end of the day, we are still human. 100%. So it's I don't know. I just feel like for a female to even have the guts to put herself out there like that, because you know what, we might not need it in some people's, you know, opinions, but someone's got to do it.
Absolutely.
And I rate that female who does do it, because she's clearly so confident within herself and she knows her value.
No,
it's always the ones who come judging or saying certain things is because they're insecure, so they're going to pick at someone else's flaw to make themselves feel better, is how I see it. So yeah, I wouldn't just say it's with the styling thing, because that's what I've done previously. But it is also putting yourself out there, or even, you know, being close with the guy.
100%. 100%.
Like that in itself. People love it when it's Vijay and Trisha rubbing up, but when it's like us, suddenly it's a problem.
No, for sure. And I think we should like move away from that, because it's always like, oh, what, like, how can, like, in Tamil culture it's not normal, this and that. But I feel like, you know,
just because you do it behind closed doors, you're not a saint. Like, and you know what, it's the ones who do it behind the closed doors that have the most to say about other people as well. So
no, fair enough. Okay. All right, next question. Have you been to Jaffna? And if you have, or when you did last go, like, share your experiences of going back.
I mean, the last time I went was in 2007, but it was literally the summer before Dad passed away.
Okay.
So I don't remember too much of Sri Lanka or even India. At the time, it was just, I was young. It was very hot. Nulamba Khadi, so I didn't enjoy it. But I do want to go. I don't want to go with family because I don't want to get caught up in, going to see family members and just eating at everyone's house. I want to see the country. But I have kind of not really done anything towards it.
Fine. Is that on your like bucket list of things
I wouldn't
you
say
wanna go back?
Jaffna is up there, but I think this year, because I'm focusing on my own content or just building my brand, India is definitely on the list. Like, we're planning, aren't we, Chinna? And Sue. Yeah. But like, no, ideally we'd like to go. It's going to be more of a networking trip.
Sure.
But let's see, because cost of living as well.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Okay. And I saved the controversial one till the end.
I knew it.
Okay.
That's because I sent so many for IFT last time. So if it's any of them, let me know.
Okay. So someone wants to know, why did you leave AJS?
Because I wanted to focus on my brand. You know what it was? Genuinely, I felt like, for me personally, going into 2024, I didn't want to kind of limit myself and just... People still think that I work with AJS and that I don't work with other things. Or I don't know if it's them using that as an excuse, but it was literally just to focus on myself and I'm on my own brand. I didn't want to come across like a promoter girl and just promoting events. Even I was getting bored of going, hi guys, it's AMZ AJS, doing videos like that. So I can imagine how jarring it would be for someone who's watching it.
Fine.
And I and I just didn't want my Instagram to become like an events promotional promotion page. So that was one of the reasons that I just felt like my time was done. And I didn't really, when they were planning to do things, I didn't really get it. Like, I wasn't on the same page. So I also didn't want to be that individual that was holding the team back in any way or coming across like negative Nancy just because I don't see the vision anymore.
Sure.
Yeah, that was literally why.
So it's like you guys are on good terms.
Yeah.
Okay. just wanted to
I hope so.
that.
I mean, I would like to say that I feel like I said my part and I was respectful with how I left. How they feel or anything like that, I don't know.
No, I'm just stirring the pot. I just want to know like what's going on. Like, is everything all right? But no, that's fine. That's all right.
That's all right.
All right, that's fine. Okay. So for the final segment, there's just a couple of this or that. So I'm gonna give you two options, and you basically it's a rapid fire. Yeah. So there's no time to think. You just have to shoot away.
I think we've got two guys getting a bit nervous behind the camera.
Okay, first one.
Why do I feel like I know what the question is going to be?
All right, the first one. Suhas or Sai Siva? No buzz.
Yeah, as in like it depends on like in what sense.
We're talking artist wise. Artist wise.
Sahi.
Okay. Okay.
Bang Sahi Siva, not me.
All right, next one. Chinna or Me Too Chat?
I know I've answered this before, but that was when you weren't responding to any of my calls or messages. So I said Me Too Chat. You know what? I'm going to say Me Too Chat again because Chinna's literally taking Sahas away from me. So yeah, for that, Me Too Chat.
Okay, fine. AJS or Ace's Vibe?
Lakshmi events.
Big up, shout out.
Like, you know what? I'm not even saying that for a joke. Genuinely the best event company I've ever worked with. Their hospitality, not just our hospitality, but it's the respect for all the artists. Like, and by the way, this is not a dig at like the other companies that you've mentioned,
100%.
but it's just that one particular job I did with them. They didn't treat the Indian artists any differently to us. And I was just there like, wow, like someone actually respects us and our time and, you know, what we can do for them. So, yeah, for me, they're the best
100%.
events company I've ever worked with.
That was the first time you worked with them, right?
Literally my first and my only time.
Yeah, they're sick, man. They're sick.
But I think it's also like, Saha said this to me when they initially approached me. they themselves are artists.
Yeah.
So they know what other artists would want.
100%.
But you can tell they do genuinely value it as well, because
absolutely, no, for sure. Cause
here I am saying they're the best event company that I've worked with.
Yeah, no, I think because all of us went there, innit?
Yeah, we were all on that event as well.
So it was genuinely a mad event, and they done it really well as well. So, and I didn't know like France partied till that late, man. Like,
yeah, I've experienced it with like cousins' weddings and stuff.
Fine.
What a night that was.
Yeah. No, it was sick. But yeah, no, that's my quick rapid fire that I had for the day. But I know we've got extra time, but that's the end of the segments and everything that I wanted to kind of ask about with you today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So no, thank you so much for being here, and I really, really appreciate it. And I want to give a quick shout out to Coffee India, Adi, who's sponsored this video and has helped me, with this podcast, etc. So thank you, brother. I really, really appreciate it, and hopefully we can do more and more podcasts. I'm
also trying to do YouTube.
Yeah, so if you don't mind sponsoring more people,
do you need a sponsor as well?
So yeah, Adi will kindly do that for us. So not a problem. But thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. Really, I'm glad we finally got to do this.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see how people take this episode. And
same.
Thank you for being here today. And a big round of applause for AMZ. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good time.
We did it.
We've done it, man.
Bloody hell. What time do you call this?